Hello, how's everybody doing? Welcome to an unscheduled stream. I am doing a test, and with everything we do here at the Waffle Lodge, I decided that it might be a good idea to, instead of doing a private test, do a public test for all to see. And we'll see how it goes. Hang on a second. It is going to be fairly difficult for me to what's up, Phil? I just made it so I can see the chat. It's gonna be fairly difficult for me to put comments on screen, so you'll have to bear with me. But I've got a brand new 2-camera setup right now that I'm gonna try out that's gonna allow you guys to see the palette when I work. And I sort of look like I don't know, Darth Vader in a tank with all these cables around me and everything like that. So we'll see how it goes. But the big thing I wanted to do was try to, let's see if I get a little closer there, try to show you guys a little bit more of the painting process and how I mix the paints and how all this stuff works. So people have been asking for it, and if you ask for it, we're in the customer service business here. What's up, Stephen Rockwood? Great to see you, my friend. We're in the customer service business here, so I got to figure out how to do it, right? Because it's all about making Comicsgate and Nosfero and all the stuff we do as big as we possibly can make it. That's what it comes down to. So grab an oar, and in this case, grab a seat and enjoy for however long I can do this in terms of it's not an ideal time for streaming what with the family and everything like that, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to get our Bob Ross on, and that's how it goes. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to try out today. So you guys can see what the palette looks like over there. I don't know if I've done a lot of streams where I've shown the palette, if any. Certainly not live streams. So we'll see how it goes. What's up, Timmy Mello? How are you doing, my friend? Hail to you, and hail to the chat. So let me see here. So this is what it looks like with the Liquitex heavy body acrylics right there. And that's what my setup typically looks like. And you're going to have to forgive me. I'm going to be still getting used to this stuff because I have never done this before. And I have a camera that the hookup to the to where it screws into the arm I have that makes it so that I can position it however I want to position it, have it hover over my palette. It's a broken camera, so I had to 2-part epoxy in the screw mechanism to put that where it is. So if it falls off the arm suddenly and lands in the paint, we'll all have a good laugh. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, every dollar counts here at the Waffle Lodge. So, we can't just be buying new cameras. That ain't how we roll. So let me see if I can get this to happen. There we go. But I hope you guys are having a fine day on this Wednesday, September 21st. And I hope the weather in your neck of the woods is good. So already I'm learning some stuff. I'm going to move my hand back a little bit so you can see me load up the brush there. But yeah, what I decided I wanted to do, because so many people like to sort of space out, is try to, again, like Bob Ross is the master, so no one's going to ever come close to him, but maybe he's showing us the way. Maybe he's showing us the way. And so I'm going to paint some happy little Comicsgate books here. And we're going to make comics, for God's sake. That's how it works. Hey, what's up, Sean Fair? Good to see you, my friend. And again, if you're joining us just now, and you are not late because this was not scheduled, it's just a test. I'm not going to be able to put the chats on screen because I've got my hands full with the 2 cameras, and I've got my laptop in front of me, and the painting is over the keyboard right now. So here we are. Yeah, and please do share the link and hit like. And it's great to see you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and enjoying whatever it's like in your neck of the woods. And I'm going to be painting here. And speaking of woods, this is a giant tree from the upcoming comic book, and I'm going to be doing a cover for it, and that's what this is, called Beckoned. So if you have not checked out that comic and signed up for the email list, please do. That is from not Zaid Comics, Z-A-I-D. God, I can't spell and paint at the same time. From Zaid, Z-A-D-E Studios, not to be confused. One is the Diaz brothers, and the other is my bud Jeremy. So two different outfits. Which, to be honest, that's one more outfit than I actually have in my closet. So that's the way it is. If one pair of jeans is enough for some. It's enough for me. Let me see here. All right, let's see who else we've got here. What's up, David G? Good to see you. Sorry, Steven, you just cracked me up. You can't be cracking me up like that, Steven. It's gonna just make me laugh, man. I'm working on it. I'll see what I can do for you, my friend. You know, the customer is always right, as we like to say here, and that is an important thing. So yeah, you sit back and relax. Let me do the driving here. And if you are in fact on the road driving and listening to this, thank you, thank you for everything you do. Keeping those trucks moving is very, very important. And whatever you guys are doing is very, very important because it all contributes to what we're trying to do here. And I know that your dollars and your time is the same as mine. We are all working to try to change things and to try to move things forward. And without you guys, I don't have any arrows in my quiver in terms of making comics and publishing. So I appreciate you guys being here. And I appreciate you guys sharing out the link, liking and subscribing, leaving comments on all these videos. It helps with the algorithm. And the algorithm is filled with hijinks, let me tell you. Stephen Rockwood says, the way of the road. Exactly, yeah. So now I'm thinking about Book of Eli. For those of you guys who enjoy what we're doing over on Double Impact with myself, with Gable Type, and of course the great Jericho Green, we're going to be talking about Batman 1989 tonight on Double Impact, a movie that we have all have great experiences with, reverence for, and that it's time to have a talk about it, folks. It is a masterful film. They just did some beautiful things with it, and we're looking forward to just celebrating it as the masterpiece of just pop culture awesomeness that it is. So do come by tonight on Double Impact. I don't have the link where I can paste it, but it is up, so you can click the bell for reminders, just like you can on this channel. Make sure you do. Don't worry, I'm not going to flood your inbox with reminders. That's something you don't have to worry about. So let me move this camera just so I can see if I can get you guys a better angle. There you go. That's a better angle for you guys to see the palette. There you have it. And so, yeah, that's one of the things that is interesting to me when I was working on this. For those of you who don't know, when I was creating the character of Nosfero, some of the contours of the mask on the character are very influenced by what Anton Furst did with the design of Batman 1989. For me, he is the real design hero of that movie. And he was involved, obviously, in the designing of the Batmobile and, all of that great stuff, that great Art Deco look that influences a lot of what I enjoy doing with architecture. And just that love of craftsmanship. I mean, that's some crazy good stuff. So let me see here. All right, good. We're getting that in there. Remember, guys, only the best is good enough, Jericho's live political talk streams on his channel give me life. I paint to them all the time, similar to Salty Cracker. Amen. Yeah, thank you, Timmy Mello, for that good comment. And Stephen Rockwood, thank you for dropping the link to that. You are a gentleman and a scholar. There, I said it. And fellow artist. And you know how I feel about that. I love it. I love... but, I tell you, the funniest thing to me about all this stuff is that when it comes to doing artwork, when it comes to doing any of this stuff, we're here to entertain. We're here to inspire. And what we're trying to show people with our work and with our skills as people who are committed to this particular trade, we're trying to show people that that no matter how much they try to shape the narrative of who the audience is, when we show what they're willing to support and what they're willing to buy, it shatters that narrative. So every time you hit pledge back on Nosfero the Crypt Walker, on these campaigns that we're all doing, it is letting them know. It's putting them on notice and telling them, this is the entertainment I want. This is what I want to see. I want to see skill. I don't want to see people who despise me, and I don't want to see people who are just, cranking out tripe for people to spend their hard-earned money on. That's not how we do things. And frankly, that's not what these great movies like that are beautifully crafted by, skilled craftspeople like Batman 1989 and all of the beautiful matte paintings. What's up, Mighty Magic and Leg Kick One? It is good to see you guys. Hail to you. Yeah, we're at 465 backers, and we are so close to locking poor but magnificent Eric Weathers into lettering this book. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Eric Weathers as an artist, as a craftsperson, and as a CG team brother. I've got to check out the show from last night. Family stuff came up. I was not able to be on it, but I will be, of course, there with bells on. And I was always grateful for the opportunity, to stream with Eric. He's such a good dude, such a good dude, and really cares about Comicsgate and art and lettering and paint. And I have a long form interview with him on my channel. If any of you guys missed it, it's worth a look at some point. Get a really great glimpse into Eric and as an artist and as a creator. I know you all know and enjoy his work because he's probably lettered almost everything you've backed. And I would also say this, if we've got a big campaign coming up. What's up, Bretsky the Great? Salute chat and salute artist extraordinaire Shanth. You are too kind, my friend. I appreciate that, Bretsky the Great. Batman 89 looks great in... Oh, my gosh. Stephen Rockwood, I know you do a lot of pen and ink work, so you're the only other nerd who has probably turned the color off on your screen. Maybe the rest of you guys have, too. I don't want to speak too soon. You couldn't be more right. I love looking at that movie and just desaturating my screen and watching it in black and white. It is magnificent. If there's one thing that saddens me about that movie is when they did the 4K remaster and they changed the sound effects because they didn't want to use stock sound effects that honestly are an integral part of that movie. But they also made it very teal, and it's something they've been doing with certain 4K remasters. And that movie had this wonderful red, brown, sort of almost sepia tone, and seeing it blue is just very, as great as it is to see all the incredible details from the restoration. They really need to fix the color on that. I was ready to buy the new remaster, but I'm going to hang on to my DVD until they sort that out, because that really is unfortunate. Everywhere you go where it's been updated on iTunes now, it's a bright blue. What's up, Apex Comics? How are you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Timmy Mello, tonight's Batman 1989 show is going to be an absolute banger. That is right. We've been texting about it back and forth, just how excited we are to see this, to talk about this flick. And I mean, again, guys, when you show up in the chat tonight and you show up to talk about this movie, please do me a favor. I know it's going to be fun. You guys never let us down. But share your own experiences with it, with the hype. When was the first time you saw it? I can tell you this. One of my good friends from elementary school, a gentleman named John Todd Love, because, again, when you're on the spectrum, you do remember people's first, middle, and last names for a long time in your life. Actually, let me rephrase that. John Todd Love II. He bought it for me on VHS. And I remember where I was because his dad worked at a video store. And he got me the VHS of Batman 1989 when it had just come out for my birthday. So wherever you are in this world, my friend, thank you for that. It was a wonderful present. It was a great memory. And I watched that thing till the dang wheels came off. 40% Zed, good to see you. Shadowhawk Talks, always great to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. We're just painting here. We're painting happy little Comicsgate covers, and that's what we do. And I'm doing some fine detailing on this piece that I think you guys all know. And we got a pretty precarious setup here today with these two cameras, so I'm not going to be I'm going to be all right at reading chats because they're far enough away to where my vision's working. And I'm also going to be doing some what do you call it? But I'm not going to be able to put them on screen, is what I was trying to say. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I'm reading. And I'm not great at it, guys. So yeah, Shanth Jetty's version of Batman 1989 would be an awesome comic. Yeah, well, I will say this. I'm being totally serious, Apex Comics. If you look at Nosfero's mask design, go take a look at it. That is one of the ingredients in Nosfero's design, is the Batman 1989 cowl. I would say that Nosfero, in some ways, is my version of Batman 1989 because it is a hero comic. I would say he's a super. I would say he's called. I always call him Nosfero, the supernatural hero. That's how I think of him in my head. And so he's a not so much a superhero as he is a supernatural hero. He's influenced by, all of the great sword and sorcery stuff, the pulp, all of that stuff that's great that we love. I mean, when people look at comics like Mike Mignola's Hellboy, for example, um, and characters like Mike Mignola's Hellboy. I mean, I wonder how many people have read the Solomon Kane story. I hadn't, frankly. The Right Hand of Doom. I mean, that's where all of these people get their stuff from. They're inspired by Lovecraft and they're inspired by the pulp stuff. I'm actually hoping at some point to get a chance to read some of Razorfist's fiction because I just would be curious to see it because I love the things he has to say about pulp. I love his take on culture. I think he is probably, there's people, again, Jericho is a really good example of this, but there are certain people who are very sharp with their insight on culture. And I think that Razor Fist is one of those people that when it comes to pulp and when it comes to everything else, we're a collaboration, I think, waiting to happen at some point. I would love to do a painting, a traditional pulp illustration for one of his books or one of his projects because, yeah, kindred spirits. We're kindred spirits. Let's see who else we got here. We have got 40% Zed, of course. Shadowhawk Talks is here. Timmy Mello is here. Let's see here. Hale, Leg Kick One, Richie, Richie Dupe, and Ordway. Sorry, I'm looking through a camera cord right now. Ordway's adaptation is pretty great. I would agree with that. Yeah, the great Jerry Ordway. Nosfero actually reminds me a lot of Spring-Heeled Jack. Very cool. If anyone ever heard of that epic legend in Victoria, England. Excellent. Or Victorian England. Victoria, England. I don't know her. Let me see here. I have a really nice collection of all of Howard's work, but I haven't gotten around to reading it yet. I have such a backlog of material. Amen. That is absolutely true. Yeah, I am the same way. I have so many books I want to get to and read. And the issue for me is always, right, I've got to have a brush in my hand almost every second of the day when I'm not spending time with family. And actually, sometimes when I am having conversations with my kids, it's they're sitting in the office here in this room and just like I'm painting and talking. But, if you don't look up at your kids every now and again when you're talking, it's not probably they probably going to wonder if you're actually paying attention. So I try to pay attention. But yeah, I mean, there's so many great books. I want to get the Gary Gianni illustrated Solomon Kane complete works. But then I'm thinking, well, when am I going to have time to read it? I'm already backlogged with Comicsgate stuff, and I'm backlogged with other fiction I've bought. And you know how it is. It's like, that's why I think I like to flip through the stuff when I get it. Let me see if that paint's already dry there. Hang on a second. I was getting set up here for a while, so I don't know if I'm going to have to put some more orange down. Yeah, I'm going to have to. Hang on a second, guys. So yeah, for those of you guys tuning in, please do hit the like, please share it out. Please please back Nosfero the Crypt Walker. And also this Sunday, we are going to be launching a new Graveyard Shift supplemental. That's going to be on Ethan's channel and a project from the great John Malin. For those of you guys who don't know about this, whenever I'm painting, one of my great secrets is I always paint with a tube of Malin white. And that is a very, very powerful white, let me tell you. And hey, what's up, Hutch the Dirty Roofer? How are you doing? After talk of pulp the other day, I pulled out my copy of Sabatini's Captain Blood. Excellent. Yes, beautiful stuff. I like to listen to these types of streams while I work, but I can't stand audiobooks. I find reading it is part of the experience. Currently going through Jack Vance's Dying Earth books. Well, excellent. Listen, I will never. Hey, what's up, Richie Duke? Good to see you, my friend. I will never judge the way that anybody goes about their reading. I'm not here to judge your journey. And let me tell you this. One of the traits I most admire in people, because reading was such a struggle for me, was that they could read fiction. I find it amazing that people get lost in those images. I can listen to audiobooks and get lost in it. And I do enjoy reading books, but it takes a tremendous amount of focus for me to do so. Now, my wife will go and buy the latest Stephen King book, read it in one sitting, and these things are like phone books, for those of you guys who remember what those are, and just like crush it on her head like a beer can. I mean, she just devours books, and I admire that so much. It's great. And just like I admire, and I know we've got some people in CG who do this for a living, so let me get them a shout out here. I admire all of you guys who work with kids who have dyslexia and doing early intervention with them to get them where they need to be. Because I really do think giving somebody the gift of reading and helping them to get to that point is one of the greatest things you can do for another person. And I do take all that stuff seriously. It's just the same thing with inspiring people with your artwork or anything else. These are things that should be noble professions and things that people should do with a little bit of humility. But also, at the same time, I think one of the positions we find ourselves in is that people need to also put their feet in the ground when they're good and say, no, the stuff I'm doing is not the same thing as this postmodernist, human work. So it's an interesting place we find ourselves in. But when it comes to the people who support and back my book, I have immense gratitude for you guys. And I know you support a return to the craft and skill gained over time that is required to do things like the stuff you see me doing here with the paint. This stuff does not happen in a weekend. It doesn't happen quick. It takes decades of your life. Like anything else, like being an absolutely amazing electrician or a plumber or anything that takes skill over time, it's you do it for the hope that it's going to, and with the expectation that you're going to find people who want to spend money on it. And when you've got an industry with a tremendous amount of bureaucracy between you and your craft, it's one of the most frustrating things. And so to be here in Comicsgate is an incredible blessing because I get to speak directly to you guys, and you guys know a good thing when you see it. And your support means the world to me. So let's see here. Yes, certified wolf, milky white, exactly, mail-in approved. Amen, Mighty Magic. It's great to hear it. And Timmy Mello, absolutely. It's great to hear that. Certified wolf, that's hilarious. I like light novel. There you go. Mighty Magic right there. Great page, Sean. Thank you, Mighty Magic. I do appreciate it. It's a grind to improve, says Timmy Mello. You're absolutely right. Hunch the Dirty Roofer says, Shanth, you should check on either audio or paperback, the book 1632 by Eric Flint and David Weber. Is it Weber or Weber? Don't want to give the story away, but it's a book you, as an art teacher, would love. Well, listen, I'm going to take that recommendation to heart because someone was saying to me, was asking me about what are the best things in any collection of independent minded folks with a lot of different interests and a mutual respect for creativity, which is to say, when I say creativity, I don't want to get that confused with imagination. Creativity to me is much more in line with productivity. And so I mean productivity. We make things. That's what creativity used to mean anyway. And so I absolutely will take that recommendation to heart. And Julie Pascal seconds it. That's as good as gospel as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, excellent. I'll tell you another interesting influence on what I do art-wise that I don't know if I've talked about excessively on my channel. But, given enough time, I'll talk about everything excessively because I think that's how I work. What's up, Scottsley, my friend? How you doing, brother? Hail to you, and thank you again for taking the leap into CGs and backing CG books with Nosfero. What an honor that was for me to hear. I do appreciate Scottsley. But one of the movies that really influenced me is Michael Mann's film, The Last of the Mohicans, with Daniel Day-Lewis. What a beautiful visual treat that film was. And I love that book, even though it does, I actually love the ways it differentiates from the movie or where it deviates, or the movie deviates from it. But I love the N.C. Wyeth illustrations for Last of the Mohicans. Just a great, great flick and a fun adventure story. So yeah, and thank you guys for being in here for this crazy test. Remember, do hit the like button, do share it out, and let everybody know that we're just in here painting, guys. We're Bob Rossing it up. I'm painting a happy little tree in an incredibly cool, imaginative world in one of those ways that only Comicsgate can do it. Timmy Mello says, let me see here. Udemy's art classes are a huge help in looking for near college level online discounts. Courses. Just picked up a ton thanks to a discount. But I'm excited to reap the benefits of practice and detailed education. Yeah, I mean that's what it is, isn't it? It's all about getting detailed information and being articulate. And making sure you make things as clear as you possibly can. I think it's one of the more important things you can do. And it's funny. I remember listening to the Duffer Brothers talk about their approach to writing, and being filmmakers, or I should say storytellers. And they said, step one, write something that works. What a great bit of advice. Step one when it comes to writing a script is write something that works. Who'd have thought it? And, you'd think that that's an easy thing to do, particularly where millions of dollars are concerned. But we both know, and we all know, I should say, not both of us, but we all know that that's not the case. And so, stretching my back here. Ow. Whew. But we all know that's not the case. And why isn't it the case? Because people who are kind of taking their eye off the prize, and they're not thinking about what it is that we're in the business of doing, are thinking about what they want, what the audience needs to be thinking, instead of what they're actually making and what they're actually showing the audience. I don't believe in Marxist and insane ideas like reader response theory, which I think is about as narcissistic and crazy as any other Marxist idea. But I do think that an audience has a right to watch something, obviously, and have their own experience with it. Whether they like it or they don't like it. I know people who don't like Batman 1989, for heaven's sake. They're heretics. But I know people who don't like any of this stuff, and that's fine. For me, as somebody who is just loves art and loves storytelling, I think any artist with a vision and with the motivation to tell something entertaining is art worth looking at. I just don't want artwork to do things that are, as James Joyce said in The Character of Stephen Dedalus, that are improper to art, which is being overly didactic and lectury. Shalf, notice how the social Darwinism of Fenimore Cooper's time is so similar to the modern woke. Man made the story better. If anything, he de-wokeified it from Cooper's original. Well, listen. Yes, I do think that is true on some levels. I definitely do. But I will say this, is that, as much as I enjoy some of Mark Twain, I do think that if there's an author who has gotten a bad rap as a result of falling out of favor with the the witty folks like Mark Twain. Again, much love to Mark Twain. I'm sure he's canceled. I do think that James Fenimore Cooper's work is in that book is particularly fascinating in terms of the things that it leaves in that people would believe were not the case back in the time, if that makes sense. But Hunch, my friend, let me tell you something. If I'm having a conversation with James Fenimore Cooper about James Fenimore Cooper with you, this is the best. Guys, listen, man. I mean, we're talking about, people don't understand. You come into a Comicsgate chat. What I think people who are pseudo-intellectuals are most afraid of is for people to come into a CG chat and into our scene, or what is it called, in our space, as Eric July would say, and see how interesting, smart, and articulate we are. And heaven forbid how funny we are. Because if they see us being funny, it will only show how dry they are. But I have to be honest, if I could pick out of the two what they're more afraid of, because they don't even understand humor, it's people finding out that we're actually the same well-read, motivated folks who've always supported and championed imaginative fiction. And they're the people who have always strived to tear it down because they don't have two imagination brain cells in their heads to rub together. That's what it is. I mean, when you're writing and illustrating a comic book like I'm doing right here, it is a tremendous amount of work. The neural load on doing this kind of stuff and being able to be focused, much like streaming and painting at the same time, by the way, is tremendous. And there's a lot of things that being around strong people and strength, like we have in CG, getting away from, as was said in a tremendous book that my brother Gabe El Taib recommended to me, being away from the world of covert contracts. Like where it's where you're getting support, where people are like, I'll support you with the understanding that you have to support me. And I don't mean that in terms of, let me be clear, I don't mean that in terms of the fans and the audience. I mean that in terms of when you're in academia or when you're in the comic book industry, it's sort of like people come in and they say, well, I'm going to support your fiction that you have skill and you deserve to be here as long as you support my fiction that I have skill and deserve to be here. And what you get is an industry of very unskilled people. We've got Blade here, by the way. I love that name. This is giving me ideas I haven't sorry, hold on, let me adjust my glasses here. This is giving me ideas I haven't focused on yet with this medium. Oh, that's terrific, Got Blade. I'm glad to hear it. And glad to see you here, my friend. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 is here. Hail, and how are you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. And guys, I hope everything is going okay in your neck of the woods. And if it isn't, I hope it's going better by the end of the day. That is a big part of this. It's we're sharing this particular experience together in a vast ocean of time, and we're using that time to share the great stuff, the beautiful things. And when you're sharing beauty with friends and you're sharing inspiration with friends, there is not a better use of your time outside of doing the same thing, perhaps with family. And I will say this, I have so many friends in my life who I would consider falling into that latter category. We've known each other through thick and thin. We've known each other through every kind of situation. A good friend of mine, the groomsman, was on the stream the other night. That's a great example. And another friend of mine who's not even on YouTube, of course, as life goes. Not all life is on YouTube, as you know. Just most of mine right now with work and everything like that. But you got great people, and we're talking about art and books and literature. Siege Perilous is saying internal machinations, indeed. Yeah, everybody's saying hello to one another. I think that when we sit down and we look at storytelling, one of my favorite storytellers right now is God, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name because I'm trying to do a few things at once. Damn it. This is going to bother me. It's not Travis, is it? The gentleman who is the show creator and writer of Yellowstone. And he was talking about writing, and he was talking about his philosophy of writing. I was watching him talk about character and drama. And I think he's got a really good ear for dialogue, and he's got a really good eye for how to make a picture or how to put a picture on screen. And so that to me is the stuff that inspires me. It's just being around people who are passionate about storytelling, passionate about art. You know what I mean? Doing the shitty people dance. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's how it works. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I love that he titles shows with really, really great whiskey wisdom kind of advice. I love the one that is that one of the characters says, in this life, you're doing one. There's only two things you should be doing. You should either be winning or you should be learning. And that's really what it comes down to. And if you're not winning, you better be learning. And if you're not learning and you're not winning, It's time to stop, drop, and roll and see what's going on and what can be improved. And I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to learn. I go back and I watch, streams I do, and I go over things, with myself. Like I just kind of go and I look at them, and as soon as I point out things, my wife goes, "Well, I don't know what the big deal is. You're pointing to that." And I think, thank you. It's is it Tyler Sheridan? Is it? I thought it was is it Taylor or Tyler? I guess it's Tyler Sheridan. But yeah, great writer, and he knows what he's doing it for. And it's true what they say: a why can sustain any how. And if you're somebody who is just disgusted by what you see going on, and frankly, the desecration of civil rights and what it means to be an American, but also the desecration of the Western way of thinking, and the belief that I have very strongly that I am not backed by a collective with Nosfero. I am backed by a large number of individuals who are getting their copy that I'm going to address and mail to them individually. We are not a monolithic groupthink group. We're a group that has our philosophies and our ideas because they've been tried and tested, and they're a way to effectively push back against a lot of this insanity and to make beauty. What are we fighting for, guys? We're fighting for beauty. Think about that for a minute. And as they say, a why can sustain any how, and it's true. Adopt, adapt, and improve, or so said one of my great uncles. There you go. Aviate our surge. Hail Shoth, hail chat, hail to you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. And Hunch the Dirty Roofer, when you read about Cora's mother, yes, and Cora's opinion on such relations, yes, yeah. I'm just waiting for modern literary scholars to cancel him. That's exactly what I was thinking about. Or maybe they'd agree with his opinions of that. You've hit the nail on the head. That is something that a lot of people do not notice. But think about this for a second, too. When you read the book, the fact that, gosh, can there be spoilers in a book that old? But the fact that you have the fate of that particular character in the book and the fate of the character that is different in the book, that is, yes, it does seem to point to that. And it's fascinating to me. And that's one of the weird aspects of it that I am fascinated to see in a book and written down, Yes, Citizen Ronan, absolutely down with nihilism. Hail, great to see you here. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. Where are my mammers, artist? That's right. I know. Sorry, man. We're doing detailed texture right now, but we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program. You know it. Brandon Spicer says, I think it's a very loud minority. 100% agree. Smart people listen more than tweet, and that is the thing. What is that old Southernism? The empty kettle makes the most noise, and it's a lot of rattling empty kettles. And because we are full, we do not make as loud of a noise, but we are methodical in our work to build, because it takes more time, more diligence, more focus to build something that lasts than it does to tear down something that has lasted. An act of destruction is a quick thing. It's a fleeting thing. An act of building is about a commitment. And when you see people here in Comicsgate, I think we all can agree they should be committed. Including myself. That is the way it works. Let's see here. Let's get that detail in there. Let's see here. That was a perfect individuals brought together by love of beauty is my new definition of Comicsgate. It absolutely is. Yeah. People brought together by love of beauty and individual liberty, and the right that their dollar matters, that they don't believe that it is right to take their dollars, put them into a giant pot, redistribute where they go against their will, and claim it is the will of the people that these things are successful, promoted, and made manifest in our culture. We know that these things that they take over were started by individuals, a group of individuals in many cases, but individuals nonetheless. And they don't know the history of American artwork, so they have to define it in a narrow way that is easily stopped by the facts. And when the facts don't work, they change the definition of what a fact is. And I see people all of the time who talk about things like, representation of this group, representation of that group. The most underrepresented minority in art and culture right now is the skilled person. Let's see here. That's why I said man made that story better. I would agree. I think it would be, I would have loved to have seen a mixture of that where we go into Cora's background. But here's another problem. And Hunch the Dirty Roofer, I need you to weigh in on this because this is a real issue here. I mean, this other literary stuff you're talking, I don't know what that's about. Can we both agree that Madeline Stowe is absolutely breathtaking in that movie? Can we come together on that? Yes, absolutely. AV8R Surge laughing out loud. Yes, indeed, Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. Handing out hug me white jackets. Absolutely. We cooking dollar bill soup today. Yes, we are. We cooking dollar bill soup each and every day. And bow to all the fine people. Bow to Jeremy Lord Crackhead 33, my brother from another mother that ain't no other, and all the members of the Crack Pack, especially D-Wag, who I got to point this out. So, as you guys know, we're always working, we're always painting at the desk, and sometimes we can't multitask. We have to listen to different things, all of that different stuff. And so sometimes I miss streams. It is what it is, and I have to catch him later or whatever. D-Wag went out of his way to send me a message on Twitter to say, hey, man, there were some nice things being said about you on this stream. I clipped it for you, and here you go. And sometimes you just need, how do I word it? It's a really great thing for somebody to take time out of their day to send something positive your way. It's cool. It's not required, but it's great. And I appreciate D-Wag for that. Let's see here. Richie Dupe says, art brings people together. Emphasis on humans' differences is purely about division, not diversity. You're absolutely right. I love stories and the story of Comicsgate is this, of people from different backgrounds with high level skill and discipline coming together to make something beautiful and in tune with the ideals that have been responsible for the greatest prosperity and the greatest ability to lift more people out of poverty than any other, system of living on this planet. And we should be proud of it. We should celebrate it. And we should also embody it in what we do. And we do that here. That's what we do. And I will say this too, and I had no idea this was all in my future. None, guys. No idea. But every single time I would come into the classroom and students would be talking politics, I would ask them, what is Article 1 of the Constitution of the United States? And actually, one time someone did get it right. It was a Canadian. I don't know what to say about that. But none of them knew. And I used to say, if you don't understand the civics, don't talk politics. Learn the civics and understand how this country is supposed to work before you decide for political reasons how you think things should go. Because civics are the most important things. Individual liberties are the most important things to understand. And you're not going to understand those. And also take some time to read the Declaration of Independence too. Because outside of just the we the people, once you get past that, there's a lot of incredible and beautiful stuff in there that is so well written and so well highlighted. It's great. Stephen Rockwood drawing Hail Canada, and we say hail to you, my friend. Holy cow, I missed some stuff. Let's see here. Hunch the Dirty Roofer and we've come to an accord, I guess. I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers, Sean. Just saying. Well, there we go. That's all we need, my friend. Consider this imaginary beef that I've concocted in my head squashed. 30 people watching, my stars and garters. Could we get some likes on this stream? Can we share it out? Can we make it bigger? Can we see what we can see? Let's see here. They would have an artist wonder whose signature, hold on a second here, signature should go on their art. You're absolutely right. There's a saying somewhere that you can make a bigger impact with the actions of building up something with your hands than verbally tearing something down. It's about energy that is being expressed. You're absolutely right. And one takes from you and other people. One is about redistributing attention or redistributing one's own inner, issues. And the other is about taking your resources, manifesting them in a world in a way that they benefit you and benefit other people That's important. Finding your purpose is an important thing, and it can take a lifetime to do. And it can also be something that you know on a gut level what you're supposed to be doing, but you haven't found the place. And I'm grateful every day to have found this place to make my work. It's been 4 decades of doing this stuff, and I never think about any part of that journey. It was all stuff I needed to learn and I needed to experience. Mistakes were made, and when I wasn't winning, I was learning. And can't ask for more from life in that way, but I can definitely aspire for more, and that's the difference right there. That's the difference. Let's see here. I watched now. You guys are killing me. We've got more time to read constitutions while we're inside waiting for our cars to warm up. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine Stephen Rockwood drawing. I've heard Jordan Peterson talk about frozen engine blocks, which most people can't imagine unless you live in, off the Great Lakes, I'm sure. I watched National Treasure 1 and 2 the other day. Does that count? It does, Art and Times of J. Ryan. You bet it does. It does. It counts here. If only the Canadians that still lived up here knew our own civics well. That's the whole thing, isn't it? The whole thing is to promote the stuff and talk about it because it's romantic and it's exciting when you talk about it well. I mean, the people talking about comics right now, it's like they're, reading you the tax code, for heaven's sake, in the mainstream. When we talk about comics, it's like it's alive for us and it's beautiful. Let's see here. Hey, Hunter Roofer says, hey, did you hear a remake of All Quiet on the Western Front drops on Netflix October 28th? Netflix is just the distributor, not in control of making it. Well, that's a relief. And I hadn't, so excellent. Amanda B., long time no see and great to see you. I really like National Treasure. You know what, Amanda B., not only do I like National Treasure, I also like Nicolas Cage. And his new movie had me cracking up. He has a great movie. I forget what the title is because it's excessively long, but it's about, genius and other things, and it is fantastic. Citizen Ronan says, the demonizing of high levels talent is the reason why people like Norman Rockwell, Dean Cornwell, Kobe Whitmore, Gil Elfgren, Alphonse Mucha, etc., had to go into commercial art instead of fine art, and that is the crux of this. That is the crux of this. We still have artists in the what's the word I'm looking for? In the bureaucratic world being legitimized for doing reinterpretations of Norman Rockwell's stuff that basically changed the entire meaning of his work. So inherent in that is an acknowledgement that his work is canonical. So they try to have their cake and eat it too by claiming that the work is vapid, but then demonstrating its canonical nature by having to reference it in order to make any kind of point. And if you think Norman Rockwell's stuff is glib, saccharine stuff, you don't know his work. And even if it was, let's concede that. Actually, I won't concede that point. Screw it. But if that were the case, it would still demand your attention for its skill level, which they can't compete on. Do you know what I mean? They just can't compete on that. And that's one of those things that I just I'll never understand. I'll never understand not how, oh, actually, let me rephrase that. Because it's important. I've been young, God knows, and I do know what it's like to resent people's success. I do. It's something you're supposed to learn about, find gross in yourself eventually, and work to overcome. And sometimes it can be a daily struggle for some people, and I don't. And I certainly have had, it's easy to have your moments when you're afraid, when you're frustrated, and you just can't look at the things you need to do. But by God, it is not a motivating factor. And I have spent most of my life, it's one of the things I'm most grateful for, is my ability to enjoy other people's successes. Because I think it's a lonely world and it's a petty existence to see other people's successes and not be able to enjoy them. And I will tell you this. Let's include in that the ability to enjoy and champion your own success and the merits of your own work when they are so deserving. And I think that that's the thing that Comicsgate demands of you is that you're going to stick your neck out there and you're going to do this work. You have to champion it. And I will never forget, Malin describing his approach. And I don't know what the first stream I heard him say this on was, but it was essentially, I don't care if you're an introvert. Don't care. Doesn't matter. There's what you've got to do. Do your best. Is it going to be perfect? No. But don't make a list of things that you won't or can't do preemptively. Try them, work hard, and see what you can get to later on. I wanted to learn how to play the violin because I always wanted to learn how to play the Ashokan Farewell that I first heard in Ken Burns' Civil War documentary. And so I picked up the violin a couple of years ago and had a teacher work with me, and I can play that now. That matters to me. That song matters to me. And this country matters to me. It's never too late to pick up the Constitution if you've never read it start to finish before. Do it. It's worth it. Let's see here. But we just have an octogenarian who needs a nap all the time. Yeah, that's true. But fortunately, we're still breathing and still standing. So let's have it, right? You know what I mean, Mr. Monkey Boy 19? I know you do. I know you know. Stephen Rockwood drawing. I've got a big oversized book of Norman Rockwell's art. He was great. I don't believe you. I think you need to send it to me, mail it to me, and then I will believe you. But you won't get it back. Let's be clear. Siege Perilous, indeed, void of value. And you know what's interesting is that I would like to think if we get our heads in the right zone, it is easier to notice a void and for people of character and passion and motivation to rush in, seize the void, than it is for people to systematically hollow out something that exists, because they do that over time insidiously. That's the one place where they're slow. The work to hollow something substantial out. That does take work. It's bit by bit by bit. Sometimes it takes 10, 15, 20 years. But once that void is created, you can't sustain it. And they can't sustain their interest because to the parasite, they have to find a new host. And that is why the physician who heals and the person who takes care of the person, they're going to be there for the long haul. And they're going to recover. They're going to heal. And they're going to be stronger on the other side of it. As long as they learn from it. As long as they realize what happened. What are the things going on? And we take hard looks at things here. And that's big. Citizen Ronan says, Evie will weigh you down and wear you out like a heavy anchor. That it will. And you're right. Stephen Rockwood drawing. Shane hardly started out as an extrovert. You're absolutely right. And the man has worn a diaper on stream now. You can't say any fairer than that. Hail Shane Davis, hail Yanzi, and hail Inglorious Rex 2. Looking forward to it. Fellow Kaiju fan. He strikes me as a good egg. And we seem to have very similar Christmas stories. So much love, Shane. Yeah. Let's get together sometime and never discuss those stories. Because, yeah. We can talk about, doting on our kids. I think that's a better topic for us, is making it right on the next generation. That's what it's about. Making it right. I think that's the most heroic thing people can do. Wherever you come from, all of that other stuff, whatever's going on in the art world. Oh my gosh, Hunch the Dirty Roofer. Heavens to Betsy. And Aardvark, back Aquila, damn it. Back Aquila, in demand on Indiegogo. There you go. And Sumo Thori, it is great to see you, my friend. How are you? I've got a super chat, so I'm going to try to balance this as best as I can. Sumo Thori, good morning to you. It's great to see you. Let me play this real quick here for this wonderful super chat. Let me read it. Here's to cover the office hours. Thank you so much, Professor. Haven't been able to do an honest dive into Cooper, no matter how short, in over a decade. Thanks, Sean. Thank you for sharing and being a kindred spirit with James Fenimore Cooper and that book. I have my hardcover. I cannot reach it or I will collapse. All the stuff that's around me with the original N.C. Wyeth paintings, rephotographed, and then I got the newer version they put out, which is beautiful. Here's to you, Hunch the Dirty Roofer. And thank you for sharing your passion here in the chat and with Comicsgate. So let's see if I can get to it. And whoops, where is it? We're smooth, guys. We're smooth today. Here we go. Charge! Thank you so much, Hunch. I do appreciate it. Let's see here. And let me go back to this so I can see things. There we go. Instead of being inspired by excellence, they feel threatened and envious, preferring to see themselves in everything instead of moving past the moment. You're absolutely right. It's very difficult to take in life by trying while you're, or it's, should I say, impossible to take in life while you're trying to impose your interpretation of it onto it. And this is where that idea, that's another one of those postmodernist Marxist relativistic ideas, comes from. And it is the idea of viewing everything through the lens of emotivism, which you're no longer looking at the thing, but you're trying to consider what might be the motivation of the person who's saying the thing. And when it comes to things like fact and the fact of aesthetics, which is something that we all share as members of the species, we have our ability to take in information, decide where we should go, is largely dictated by the things that were helpful to our survival. That's a big part of it. And so to deny those kinds of things with the poison of subjectivism, as C.S. Lewis would say, is one of those things that I think is really awful and anti-life, anti-human. And that's a tricky thing when you see it. I mean, it's a tricky thing for people to navigate when it's all around them. I had a friend who's a teacher send me something that was in the latest art education, or should say, or education magazine that they put out. And it would, I wouldn't say it would blow your mind, but it would absolutely disgust you, as it disgusted my friends, or my friend who was looking at it. And you just go, are you seriously putting this out there to the world? Is this seriously how you want to spend your time? It's crazy. So Sumo Thori was saying, morning to all. It's great to see you, Sumo Thori. Aviate-R Surge is saying hello. We've got Daniel, and it's Aquila. There you go. Aquila. Thank you so much for giving me the spelling on that, Daniel Craig. I do appreciate it. And it's good to see you in the chat, my friend. Aquila, not Aquila, as I was saying. Aquila. J-Bot Art is here. Good to see you, J-Bot. How you doing, my friend? Yo, chat. Hail, shout. Hail to you, my friend. Craig, they can pronounce Aquila, but prefix a T, and you'll see language magic. I love it. That is fantastic. So back that, or sign up for that book, or I should say back that book, because it's in demand. Eat the worm. Make it happen. Aquila. What's up, Past Master Dan? Check 1 2. Check 1 2. It's good to see you, my friend. Absolutely great to see you. I hope you're doing well, Past Master Dan. I had fun in the the stream last night with you, and all of you great guys who were there. Holy cow, that was a walk down memory lane. But you know, it's such a funny thing, because this is my first real strategy for how to show my mixing of my paint. So I hope you guys are seeing some of what I'm doing here. I don't know how helpful it is. Let's see here. Richie Duke is saying, hey, Dan. Got Blade is saying, let me adjust my glasses. Sorry, they fell down my nose there. They believe they can create the path they walk instead of walking the path that creates us, with faith in that creates us with faith in something higher than human failure. Well, you're absolutely right. It is it's a very strange thing, because there is nobility in the discipline of what we do, and there's nobility in one of the hardest things in the world I've found for a lot of people to say, and I struggle with it too. I think everybody does every now and again, and I work on it too. Like I really sit down and go, come on, man, let's get better at that. Is I see a lot with the younger generation an absolute fear to say they don't know, or to agree rather than try to find out for themselves what the information is. And saying you don't know is a very useful thing. And if you get trained into not ever wanting to say, I don't know, it's like any habit, it's breakable, but man, is it hard to break that habit of not saying, you know what, I just don't know. And there's a lot of things that, because to me, saying you don't know around smart, interesting, and creative people, and as opposed to people who are certain and convinced of whatever, or have an agenda, I should say, and not genuine inquiry. If you're saying I don't know around the right people, it opens you up to more information. You're saying essentially to the person, please tell me this thing you know. And I've learned a lot about book recommendations and things like that. I tried to cultivate that as much as I could as a teacher. And one of the things that attracts me to Comicsgate is the fact that we cultivate that here. People share book ideas. If one person who hasn't read this book that you brought up and any one of the streams, for all of you guys who do this type of thing, and they read it and it affects them, it could change their life. And that is what, when my friend Zachary Hartford Cullis, God bless you, Zach, wherever you are, when I was a kid, he said to me, have you seen this book? It's this graphic novel, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I hadn't read a comic before, not consciously. And then he also said, there's this artist on Hulk. He's amazing. His name's Todd McFarlane. Where would I be without that conversation? Where would I be? And let's see, Hunch the Dirty Roofer says, oh, geez, Shanth, you're my favorite of the Comicsgate artists because, like me, your passion is for the classics like Scott and Cooper. You're absolutely right. Amen. Though Aaron and Gary might call them contemporaries. I love Aaron and Gary too, of course. And I love it. It's great. Thank you, Hunch. I appreciate that. I had the benefit of being raised by a Comanche woman, and she taught me so much about the natural world. Yes, and I don't know all the specifics of it, but if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot about Comanche history and Comanche culture. There's my I don't know for the day. I know there's been some great works written about it, and I'm always open to sources because outside of the kind of pulp, adventure stories, my knowledge is, I don't want to say it's at zero, but it is probably at maybe a 3 or a 4 of what I'd like it to be. So yeah, that's really cool to hear, by the way. Yeah, hats off to her for that. You don't know what you don't know is saying Art Times of Jay Ryan. What you don't know, oh shoot, I gotta try that again. You don't know what you don't know, so best get to knowing. Absolutely right. Good Lord, my reading ability has fallen off a cliff. Hagelman. Oh, do we have Hagelman here? Let me see here. Hold on a minute. There we go. Hunch the Dirty Roofer. Good. Just making sure I haven't missed anybody. Jonas Olson. Good to see you, my friend. I did miss a bunch of people there. I apologize, guys. It's a little crazy here today. Timmy Mello. It doesn't take much to humble yourself. But for some people, when contending with pride, it may take everything and then, it may take everything and then some to be humbled. Wait, it may take everything and then some to be humbled. And if not, they will be humbled by force. You're absolutely right. No, it does. It does take everything sometimes to really push yourself in that. But then, life's a great teacher, right? Hello, Past Master Dan. Just think Trail of Tears. Yes, absolutely. What up, yo? Indeed. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me move that because it's blocking the chat here. Sometimes conceding the point throws them because they would never do so. You're absolutely right, too. You're absolutely right. For anyone who really wants to learn about or improve, I should say, effective dialogue, there is a Google talk given by, and we'll try to look past the branding on it, in general, just as a, because I know how people can be about that. But a gentleman by the name of Chris Voss, who wrote a book called Never Split the Difference, who was a policeman and a negotiator, and all that implies, did a talk where he talks about the different kinds of people, what motivates them, and these 3 different groups he's broken people down into. And even though he says that everybody gets an element of them over time, and he says there's the and you can have elements of all 3, but most people lean one way. There's the analytical types, there's the natural born assertive types, and then there is the accommodating type. And he talked about, one of the things I thought was rather brilliant is he talked about how you can learn a lot from people based on how they handle one particular thing and what's going on in them when they're experiencing one particular thing that everybody tends to read the exact same way, but it isn't for these 3 people. And here's what it was. What I try to do is I try to keep the viscosity up by putting a little bit of water at the base of the paint, and that will keep it pulling water up from underneath, which can help make it sustain a little bit longer. So yeah, that is part of it that makes it work, and that's a good reminder for me to do so again. But he talked about those three types, and what he said about them in terms of silence was really informative. So here's how the three different types view silence, and you can think about it for yourself. He said that when an assertive type sees silence, they think, okay, it's time for me to talk. I'm going to fill that space in with talk. And so they assume that's what it means. Fill it with talk. The analytical person, when they think of silence, an analytical person, when they're, or I should say, when an analytical person is quiet, and they think about silence, it's a great time to think. So when an analytical person is quiet, they're thinking, right? When there's quiet, an assertive person is going to talk. It means you want me to talk. And when a accommodator goes quiet, what that typically means is that they're mad. And what's fascinating to me is I've seen a lot of people who are accommodator types not understand that when some people go quiet, they're thinking, or when you're quiet, they're talking because that's what they do when they're silent, but they are not aware you're mad when you go silent. So I always say, if you ever want to know if you're an accommodator, just ask the question, do you go silent when you're mad? And you'll know you're an accommodator. Do you wish things would get quiet so you could think? There's all these great things, and it just cracks me up. Nice. There's an Audible version of Never Split the Difference. Great book, great talk. The talk is free on YouTube. Silence is an illusion. Go silent, and suddenly the inside becomes quite vocal. Well, much to my wife's regret and frustration, because she can't wrap her mind around this, I do not have an internal dialogue. So quite often, when I go quiet, there's nothing happening there but pictures. I see images, and I see systems. I play movies. I listen to music. It's really a strange thing, but I don't think in sentences. And I'm convinced that's what makes it easier for me to talk and paint, because I've never used an internal voice as a part of my art making process. So I don't need to. This is what you're seeing right now is how I think. And this is half of my brain, and the talking and the reading is in a completely different section. And I thought everyone was like that for the longest time. And then my wife just told me, she's like, babe, you're crazy. So there you go. What's she going to do when they come for you, bad boys? Let's see here. Past Master Dan saying hello, Hunch Story Roofer. It's a book taking the name from that painting about Comanche Gwen is a historian and archaeologist focused on the Southwest Native tribes. One of the last honest ones. Very cool. Past Master Dan is being hollered at and said hello by Siege. Past Master Dan, I will look up that hunch. I actually go quiet in both cases. Says Daniel Craig. Good to know. I have a heart valve that clicks all the time. I'm like the Tin Man. There you go. My internal dialogue goes on almost all the time. A blessing and a curse. Yeah, I think it'd be great to be able to do that. Let's see here. Siege Perilous says, Past Master Dan, it is an interesting illusion though, and to Shanth, that is the internal dialogue. Dude, it is. You're absolutely right. It is. Past Master Dan, hey, a dude from Siege Perilous. Citizen Ronan saying, when I go quiet, it usually means I've fallen asleep. Oh my God, I wish I could do that more. But I am 50 now. That's right, Citizen Ronan, and congratulations on that 5-0. That's big stuff right there. I never stop thinking about something at one time or another. Gotcha. I feel your pain, Timothy Mello. I feel that pain as well, Timmy Mello. Let me tell you. Yeah, I know a lot of people who would agree with that. Would absolutely agree with it. Let's see here. What else are we going to do on this bad boy here? All right. So I want to make sure I got that in there. I've got that. So I'm pretty satisfied. I want to get a little bit more value right in there, because one of the cool things about this world here that is being created in Beckoned, which is the book I've been commissioned to do this cover for, is it's a very expansive world. It's a very romantic world. And it's I wouldn't say it's surreal, but it does have a surreal quality to it that I rather like. So picking out those values so that they're kind of lyrical and harmonious is an important part of it, you know. Richie Dupe says, I click every now and again. It's a cyborg life. Yeah, that's right. There you go. Got Played says, I'm always in conversation with what I'm working on. It tells me what it needs. Yeah, that's what it is. Excellent. I love that. That's great. That's a great way of putting it, Got Played. Laugh out loud, that or arthritis. Amen. Richie Dupe, laugh out loud. Speak to me, my canvas. That's right. Speak to me, my canvas. You're my only hope. That's how it works. But I do love world building, and I do love but I love, it's so funny because world building has also kind of become something that I think is said a lot. I think that world building to me is something that is works best in concert with storytelling, because if world building or having a great world was all there was to it, the people who buy these properties and buy these brands would be able to make this stuff happen and be more, they would be able to do something with the world they're given, but they can't tell a story in it and the whole thing falls. And I think that's something I've obviously been thinking about when I'm working on this book, is that whole aspect of things. Let's see here. When I get up, hold on a second. What about when you got more than one voice going off in your head? It happens at times. I just pick the whichever one agrees with me. That's right. Well, that's important too. That's important. Every now and again, you want those voices to agree with you. That's a key. It's a key feature. Absolutely a key feature. And, we're not here to judge the journey of you or your voices. And hopefully you won't judge all my voices, I was telling my wife that I see things in my head like a movie. And then sometimes I look at her and I go, but this head movie makes my eyes rain. Let's see. Let's see. When I talk to my canvas, usually profanity, it's profanity riddled. Yeah, I've had those moments too. I've had those moments where back when I was doing pen and ink comic work, where I would knock some ink into a piece I'd been working on for a while, and I wouldn't even get angry. I would just you just sort of take a mental knee. And on the worst accidents that happen with artwork, I don't usually get loud. It's usually quiet. I'm like, no. Because if I got loud, I know I would probably wake everybody up in the house anyway. But it was, oh God, it's frustrating when that happens. Or it's, again, like, how many times does a person need to not save a file before they learn that lesson? For me, it's an ongoing lesson that can happen. Is I will do so well at it for a little while, and then I'll just work on something, and I'll go to save it, and it says save as untitled, and I'll go, wait a minute, have I been working on that for hours and I didn't save it? Boy, I was just playing with fire right there. Such an amazing thing. Let's see here. To buckle my shoe. Let's get that sorted. There we go. We're starting to just get this world to be a little bit more descriptive and haunting, because it is very well described in the artwork in Beckon. So it's how do I word it? It's both surreal but also lovingly crafted, and I think that's a part of it. That's part of the appeal, and I think that's what people are really seeing with Nosfero. I've got a lot of backers this week. People are seeing the book and saying, and if you have not backed Nosfero the Crypt Walker yet, please do. Every backer counts. We are 9 pages from the finish line, and then it's going to be it's going to be the work of laying it out in InDesign and the lettering and all of that stuff. And it's just a stunning book, guys. It's beautiful. It's just pages of this. And it's what Razorfist describes when he talks about what pulp should be. It's not high page count, but it's high plot. So, and it's beautifully crafted. Again, bear in mind, whatever the page count is, every single page is painted meticulously and made to be beautiful and made to be something that brings beauty and inspiration to your life. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it comes down to. May I derail for a moment? Listen, I've told my wife my tombstone needs to have on it, but I digress. So by all means. Shanth and Jetty, have you seen the fully colored piece of Dale's Reaper Destroyer yet? I don't know if I have. If you have, what's your impression? Acrylic. Holy cow. I don't think I've seen that yet, but I will have to check it out. If I had another set of hands, I would. Let's see here. Let's Eddie's language understand. That's the problem. Daniel Craig, that's my best guess. Okay, I guess there is a. It's painted nice. Um, maybe search good description, dude. Hunch the dirty roof for autosave. It saved my liver. It saved my liver and cut my drinking while I was working in DC. There you go. Right. Matthew Fowler. Hey, what's up? Hail to you, my friend. Looking forward to getting my copy. Right on, Matthew Fowler. Thank you so much, man. And hail to you, man. Tiger Blue, guys. Check it out if you have not. Tiger Blue 2 as well. And Matthew Fowler is doing some really great stuff on that book. I love what I've seen of the artwork. And of course, I have my copy of the first issue right off to the side right there. So great to see you, Matthew Fowler. Terrific to see you. Yeah, autosave is a good thing. Those are the days, right? Sumo Thori saying hello to Matthew Fowler, as we do here. Well said. Aviate Surge, I have one voice that just struts around like Mick Jagger and spouts out complete nonsense. Great advice, though. Go figure. There you have it. Yeah, if you've got an internal voice that offers you the occasional whiskey wisdom, that'll do in a pinch. And it's always good to have, a fair amount of great wisdom around you on tap to pull from. It will save you in situations to have, good stuff like that around. Like for me, I have I know you guys have all seen this, but I have a small piece of foam core that I use to put down under my hand when I draw. And one of the things, it's got 2 quotes on it on each side. One of the quotes is very Comicsgate to me, from Greek slave and former started out as a Greek slave and became an important philosopher in Rome and in Greece. The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Beautiful quote from Epictetus. And then Marcus Aurelius on the other side. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. I love those quotes. And those quotes are just beautiful to me. Like, I love that wisdom that people through the ages, that lives through the ages, and that we can take. And time-tested wisdom is one of the most important things that we have. It is one of the most important things. And that's what people don't understand. The reason why a work is important and it's a canonical work is not because it was popular during its time, so it's popular now. In fact, there's a lot of things that were popular during their time that aren't popular now. It's because it transcended the time it came from and became something that was successful and something that spoke to humanity over multiple generations. That is a big thing to understand. These guys don't understand that. They think we're playing a game of the now, and that's what they want, to make everything about the now and not have anything be about history, experience, and what you know from people. I was talking with one of my kids the other day, and we were talking about money, and we were talking about investment, and we were talking about worth. And the thing I said to him was, if you see a person who comes up to you and one person says, hey, man, invest some money in me. I'm going to give you $15. If you invest in me, you'll have $15 every week. And you're invested with me. And then you have another person say to you, hey, I'm going to give you $100 every week if you invest your money with me, or if you sign this line with me. Let's make it even simpler than that. That is an easy decision for people to make with only that information. But if you change it and you say, if you invest your money with me, or if you invest your money with this person, he's been paying out $15 consistently over time. This person who's claiming that they're going to be able to offer you $100, I don't know who they are, don't know where they come from, and I've never seen anybody able to do that, so I'm not exactly sure how they're doing it. Suddenly that $15 looks a lot better. And so what we try to do here is, unlike them, we don't throw people under the bus with a great track record for the new shiny thing. Trust is important, and it's earned. And that's what real value comes from. Excellence over time, discipline over time. That's what makes things valuable on a whole different level. And that's why that is not an easy question. But to them, they're just trapped in the now. Siege Perilous, yes, indeed. Amen. Hail Siege, indeed. Whiskey Wisdom, I'm stealing that. Yeah, it's one of my favorite expressions. I forget where I heard it, but it could have been from Joe Rogan talking to Phil McGraw, but I'm not sure. Beer is the cause and the solution to all of life's problems. Homer J. Simpson, amen. You know that in one of those towers is a mad scientist plotting world domination. It's true. Yeah, no, nowism indeed. You're right. What do you think makes a piece of art eternal? My God. Whew. Let's start with a base code of I don't know, but I can suppose, and that's important to clarify. I think it's the harmony of the values and the way that we've evolved to understand them. And I think just like rhythm is our basic audio that we understand that comes from being in utero and the heartbeat. So that's why rhythm in many cases is stronger than melody. Sophisticated melody and layers of that every time you go up. So if you once you get past the heartbeat as a pleasant human experience, once you add layers of sophistication on that, it's like you're choosing branches. You're starting at the trunk, which is always going to work, and you're choosing branches. And the further you get down those branches of doing things and building off of what's there, that gives you an understanding of what human audio or visual aesthetics are, the more complicated it gets. And I think the stuff that survives is the stuff that goes out the furthest, yet is still rooted to the base of the tree. Does that make sense? So hopefully that answers something. I don't know if that was effective though. Surge, the eye of the beholder. Oh yeah, that's right. The eye of the beholder. That and technical skill. You're right. Would probably depend on the medium of art. Also true. A timeless painting is a universal thought. Wow, that's very sophisticated, Master Dan. I'm going to steal your answer. There's still 25 head sketches left. Let's make Sean's work. Let's make Sean's work. Nosfero in demand. Thank you so much. I do love work. So that's a good thing. Any chance I get to work always makes me happy. And yeah, and spending time with you guys is great. I'm having fun. That's what it's all about. Let's see here. It's yours. Thank you. A timeless painting is a universal thought. Quote, Sean Fingetti. I don't think I can do that with a clear conscience. Feels wrong. But thank you, Past Master Dan. Much appreciated, my friend. Got Blade. That which resonates with the viewer can be eternal. You're absolutely right. It's like it echoes. It's like it echoes. And here's a really good way of looking at it. There may have been things that people do for us in life that are kind or positive, but I'm sure all of you guys know that there are certain times, and it's what was going on with you, it was what you needed, and it was the right words or the right actions or whatever at a certain time that are those acts of kindness that if you remove them, we would find it untenable. They're almost sacred to us. And I think that that's the case with I think that's the case with so many things, is that what makes, what is the value of someone saying the thing that you always needed to hear at the right moment and with the right delivery, and it coming from the type of person you could listen to? I don't think there's anything more valuable than that. And I think it's the same thing with the art. Art sometimes to me is something that you needed to hear, or see manifest through human hands in a way that interprets life and yet helps you to gain a more sophisticated understanding of it, but not in an intellectual level, in a sort of spiritual level, in a gut aesthetic level. Black Rose Comics, what's up, B Rose? Good to see you, my friend. Hail, what up, everyone? What up with you? It's great to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well and everything is good in the town of my birth. And I'm sending hopes of chicken your way, my friend. And I hope you're doing the same. Let's see here. You inspired it. You're my muse, past Pastor. That I can accept. Thank you. I appreciate that. The message has to be what makes a piece of artwork immortal, like what lasting feel resonates with us, the viewer, upon observing the piece. Feelings like joy, sorrow, anger, bewilderment are telling. You're right. It's true. Yeah. B Rose, absolutely. Everybody's saying hello. Hail Black Rose. Hail B Rose, indeed, because that's what it's like here, guys. Make sure you do hit the like. Make sure you do subscribe if you are not subscribed. And thank you guys for being here. We're going to be launching, I should say, I was like, I'm speaking like in a royal we here. I'm going to be launching membership soon on this channel. Still, getting that stuff together and just trying to make sure I get everything sorted for the various things I have going on. But yeah, we're going to be doing that soon. So thank you guys for being here, and subscribe, like, leave a comment. As they say, leaving a like is free, leaving a comment is free, but the impact of it is really, really big. And so anytime you guys go to an old video or anything like that, leave a comment, or like it or whatever. It helps. It does help the algorithm. People notice it. Certainly the algorithm does. So I thank you guys for being here, because we're trying to We're trying to advocate for beauty, and we're trying to show people what's actually going on in Comicsgate. This ain't a tweet. What's up, Phil? Good to see you, my friend. This ain't a tweet. This stuff takes time. This stuff takes time to do. So they can say, oh, we're this, 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 and the other thing. But when someone sees us at work, they go, I don't think you're right about that. I actually think that's what's going on. And they see us hanging out here talking about art and all this great stuff. And we're not doing it for them. We're not doing it to win their approval because they aren't giving it out anyway, and we don't want it. So let me be clear about that. This is not, unlike with them, this isn't about optics. This is about reality. This is about how you live your life. Life is too short to live it for optics. And I think Ethan covered that, and John was talking about that last night as well. But Ethan covered that really well when he was talking about the G4 stuff and how we respond to people, how we choose to adjust things and adjust our strategies. We are not here to win approval from people who despise us. We're here to make work and have a meaningful experience of this life because it is precious, it is important, and the time we spend matters. And when people want us to spend time, with them so they can throw, whatever, insults in our face, it's not worth our time. And that's not what we're about. I don't want to live my life for that kind of garbage, and neither should you. Got a lot of creative writing done last night. Oh, awesome, Phil. Great to see you. And Jay Ryan is here. Hail, of course, as always. And B. Rose is saying hail. Hunch the Dirty Roofer. A man goes through life with two constants, his balls and his word. You're absolutely right. And he shouldn't break either for nobody. Tony Montana. Exactly. Excellent. Tony Montana. I'm seeing Pacino there now, of course. But yeah, absolutely right. Let's see here. Hail Black Rose Comics, Aid Comics. If you type channel name into YouTube search, it helps also. Yes, that's true. Past Master Dan, laugh out loud. Tell him Frost proceeds to clap like a seal. Yeah, that may be some of my finest work, that video, I have to say. The remix of that. Yep, and writing in the chat also does show signs of life and engagement. Yeah, you guys know this stuff backwards and forwards, It's a lot of times we're spinning plates, kind of putting together a painting in this case, and without you guys' help, it's hard to get the word out. And I do think that it's consistency and quality. It's the discipline of it, It's the getting in front of it. I was not sure how this was going to work. I wasn't sure if I had any thoughts in my head. So I had the stream set for private, and then I just went, oh, wait, sorry, I'm Comicsgate. If I'm going to stream, I'm going to stream. Otherwise, what's the point? You don't do a prep stream. You go. You make a stream happen. You make work happen. And go out on your shield. It's kind of the mentality we have to have here. It's kind of that mentality. There we go. All right, cool. I feel like I got that pretty well sorted right up there. And what's up, Mighty Magic? Good to see you. Yeah, please clap. Indeed. So, guys, please make sure that video is rough. You're right, Past Master Dan. Jeb is a mess. Richie, yep, writing in the chat also helps good. Just making sure I got all those things, guys. So, so the plan is, for those of you guys who are hopping in here late, you either do it or you don't in CG. You're absolutely right, Scottsley. There is no half pregnant. Amen. So here's the thing. For tonight, guys, if someone could drop the link in the chat, we're going to be on Double Impact. We're going to be talking about Batman 1989, the film, Jericho Green, myself, and Gabe El Taib, of course, whose channel it's on. It's on Gabe's channel. And we're going to be talking about Batman 1989, and I'm sure that we'll talk about the cultural impact of it, but also, our fond memories. Come in there to the chat and share your memories too. That's what makes it fun. We hang out there and we talk about, where were you when this happened? Where were you when you saw this? And also, do you remember that line about this? That's what guys basically just send into movie quotes when we get together. It's like, but it's going to be a fun stream, as it always is. I mean, that show has kind of caught fire, and we have, we have been very lucky and fortunate and blessed with how successful that show is becoming. And I thank Jericho Green for his enthusiasm for the show and for bringing his insights into it. And Gabe, of course, my brother, who we hatched this idea for the show out of a mutual love for Van Damme, and it's become, where would I be without these friends I've made and met who are kindred spirits? Grateful to all of them, and it's fun to talk this stuff because it matters to us. Absolutely matters to us. So do come by tonight when we're talking about Batman 1989, and we'll have a good time. We'll have a great time. I still can't believe the audacity of Frost and that tweet. I can't even believe that either. Still in her, despite the need to remain relevant, she ends up losing everything a week later. It's so true. Sadly, she still won't get it. She won't learn. But again, I hope that she does. I do hope that people do learn somehow. What I find great about art is that it is tangible proof that artists exist, of the artist's existence. They may be long gone, but their art lives on. And every time we see, touch, hear, we bring the artist to life. You're absolutely right. And thank you guys so much. Yeah, Timmy, I got what you were saying. Desperate need. Yeah. So guys, I am going to take a break and grab some food. I still haven't eaten today, and I need to get something in my system before we get fired up to do our stream later on tonight. And got to get a couple of other things taken care of. But thank you guys. 24 people in here. I think at some point we had 30 people in here, if I'm not mistaken, during this stream. So thank you guys for being here. This has been a test of the emergency painting system, but this is only a test. I appreciate you guys being here, and hopefully, we can do this again with the paint. Let me know. I got grounded for watching it with my older cousin, but Mom, it's Batman. Bless your chair. That's right. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, we got to bless this chair. You guys are very welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to close out this stream with our song as I try to balance all this crazy stuff I have in my lap. And thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you so much. This stream is, it's my pleasure to do this work. Thank you for backing Nosfero the Crypt Walker. Be ready for the launch of John Malin's Graveyard Shift Supplemental 4. That's going to be a campaign launching on Ethan's channel on Sunday. Check out all of the books mentioned here in this chat. And we will be doing Double Impact Batman 1989 tonight on Gabe Taib's channel. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Nosfero the Crypt Walker. Let's make it happen. Let's keep kicking that campaign down the road here. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, chat. Absolutely. You're very welcome, guys. We're going to do great things together. And Nosfero has just begun. So thank you guys. You guys are the best. And I will see you soon. Take care.
Here's a little something for you busters. Yeah.
You're not even learning anything on the street.
Yeah.
You think I'm stupid, son?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say to you, boy?
Yeah.
Do you?
What's up with that?
Look at me, damn it!
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with
You
that?
smoke crack, don't you?
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack.
Look at me, boy!
Hey to
You
you,
smoke crack, don't you?
don't even smoke crack.
You know what that does to you? Huh? You smoke crack, don't you?
Smoke crack.
Go on and do it expeditiously.
What's up with that?
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells.
Don't even smoke crack.
No guts, huh?
I apologize. I forgot you were there. You may go now.